Hey, this is Edwin, and this is Google Plus Hangout on Air, and we are doing the making of Shadow Lurkers, the movie. Today we're talking with director Andrew Jenkins. How are you, Andrews?
I'm great. I'm great. This is cool.
Cool. And earlier we were talking about making film and discussing what it means to be an indie filmmaker. What are your thoughts about an indie filmmaker versus a big budget filmmaker?
It really comes down to just groundswell and buzz and people doing it themselves. I mean, anybody can get interest if you've got a multi-million-dollar media campaign. But what do you do if you're just some guy who has an idea and you wanted to bring it to life? That's kind of the position I'm in. And I was lucky enough, I come from a commercial director background, and quite frankly, I begged, borrowed, and stole resources to make my own mini version of the movie, just so I could show people what it would be like, what it would sound like, what it would feel like, which is that much more of an experience than just reading a script. So the idea was, okay, if I don't have the resources of the studio, how can I bring it to life and get people interested? That was kind of the concept behind just making it myself and doing it myself. And really, in many ways, that feels like the soul of the internet is what do people do with it rather than some huge company. I mean, you got Facebook who's kind of showing us what we're supposed to do with the internet. Well, what would you do if it was your own making? That's kind of what the heart and soul of this project is.
Well, it's funny because Google Plusers feel that we're such an underground group, and Google's it's still a fairly large company, but we feel like we're dwarfs compared to Facebook people and everybody that plays on the Facebook platform. Is that something similar where you're going through as a small, pretty much one-man studio?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Google Plus, the concept is people connecting with other people and finding interest and sharing those interests. And that's really what this is about is, okay, if you're just a guy trying to make a movie and get it out to people, how are you going to do it? I'm not a studio with millions of dollars in media, so take it straight to the people. And that's kind of what going through Google Plus is about, is just taking an idea, sharing it with people, and seeing what they think, and getting feedback. I mean, how cool would it be to make a movie that involves the audience and said, okay, what do you want to see in a movie? Let's talk about it. I'm making a mini version of the movie, but I'm in the making of making the bigger version. So I'd love to hear from people.
Yeah, well, I saw the mini movie, and it kind of shook me. If you heard feedback that it was too scary or if it was not scary enough, do you want the audience to talk to you in person about that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's too scary, I'm going with it. But if it's not scary enough, then I got some work to do. Really, what I want to do is, I mean, I love the genre of horror and thriller because it's an audience genre. It's people chat about it, people talk about it, and people are passionate about the genre. So yeah, I just want to make a movie that people talk about and share. Instead of just buying my way into the industry, I just want to make something cool and hope that picks up momentum.
Great. So, what would you say to the Plusser community out there? And actually, would you like to talk to a few Plussers? I see a few of them that just came online. Would you like to talk to a few of them?
I'd love to talk to them. Yeah.
Okay. So, so while I'm trying to get a few of them on there, what would you want the Plussers to say, about your movie?
Well, I think the spirit behind the movie and what the movie is two different topics, but the spirit behind it is what can you make on your own? What can you do on your own? If you had to sort of beg, borrow, and steal resources, what could you do? And that's what I've tried to do with this, is make something that just isn't, a huge studio production. At the same time, I think the concept of an indie movie or something gets a bad rap. That doesn't mean it has to look like it's made out of your garage. I want to make something cool, but I don't have the resources of a studio, so I'm somewhere in between. That'd be kind of an interesting to talk about. What do you want to see in a movie? And just talk to people about how I made this. It's kind of an odd story because I'm coming from a commercial director background, so I could kind of steal some gear and some resources and manpower that the average person wouldn't get to do. But I'm also not a big studio, so yeah.
Great. Okay, we're gonna take a pause. But why don't you tell people when and where they can see the movie?
Absolutely. So we're making a sort of mini featurette to tease the movie called Shadow Lurkers, and you'll find it January 4th, the night of a lunar eclipse, on YouTube/ShadowLurkersMovie.com.
Great. Thanks for your time, and hopefully you'll stick around, and more people will chime in. But again, watch the movie at youtube.com/ShadowLurkersMovie, and we'll see you under the shadow.
Right on.